Welcome to Peers Transparency, Part 2 to the Royal Ebony Standard. We're your hosts,
At Google Me.
Anaya Jennings.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ataraxis, a place of unity, peace, and growth. Once again, today's topic is part two of rebuilding the Royal Ebony Standard. And what does that look like? So, we did hit a lot of things and we were very vague about the things we were discussing earlier. So, what we're going to do now in part two is literally do a breakdown of each thing that Emperor was speaking of. And the reason why we're going to do this because these are certain things that's important on building a community. So, take it away, Emperor Nye.
So, all right, what's the first topic?
The first thing is finances circulating
Finance.
in the community.
So, we're going to use this whole idea for how we're running Ataraxis. Okay,
Mhm.
so finances it runs just like when you're building a community from scratch. You must first implant and say, okay, first, what is going to keep the community running? There's people that want to build these communities and be a part of these communities, but money and your
Yes.
finances of the community keeps the community above float and running.
Mm.
So that means you have to pay dues. The dues go into, and this is what we do at Iraq. We have people paying, $360 a year. You pay
Mm.
$360 a year. That that them dues goes into when you struggle, right? Let's say 1 month you're struggling and you can't pay your bill. So
Mm.
then you go into you can call up or email and say, hey, Ataraxis, my name is such and such. I'm part of the community. This is my number, my card, my ID number for
Mm.
the Ataraxis card. So boom, I am falling behind in my bills and I don't want to get too much behind. I am
Mm.
behind $400 or $462 or whatever, right? So us at Ataraxis would say, okay, such and such and such. Okay,
Mm.
no problem. You are a
Mm.
value member. You are a value member of this community. So what we do is we will sit over here and say, okay, send us your bills. We will make sure your bills get paid
Mm.
in full, right?
Mm.
And then put you on a payment plan to pay us back for your bill. The thing
Mm.
about it is you can't borrow again until your bills are paid,
Mm.
until you fully pay. But you also have to wait. Once you fully pay, you also have to wait a month. So it won't be a returning circumstance. You get what I'm saying? So you
Yes.
won't become dependent on us paying your bill, right?
Mm. Mm.
So that way you like, all right, I got to figure this out. If it's my spending habit, if it's this and that, and then we will also have, courses to help you and say, hey, this is how you can be better in saving money. This
Exactly.
is how much you're working with. Okay,
Mm.
this is how
Mm.
you can be better in progressing in your life. So when it comes
Mm.
to finances and building a community, the first thing you need is you need to sit over here and do have do. And another thing you need to have is when you sit over here and you have to have a grounded perception or perspective, a grounded perspective of what the community is all about. The community can't be, elite from the people, and the people
Mm.
can't be elite from the community.
Makes
Everything has
sense.
to be running in sync.
Mm.
So when it comes to financing the community, we need banks to hold our finances and to keep us accountable. But we
Mm.
also need businesses that's not only putting into those banks, but also putting back into those the people of the community, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a word circuit. Like what I was thinking was, okay, let's say little Johnny want to. We have the Ataraxis community. But little
Mm-hmm.
Johnny want to become he want to become a lawyer. So the Ataraxis community, what they do is, we would sit over here and we would train your little Johnny to be a lawyer from an
Mm-hmm.
early age, right?
Mm-hmm.
From an
Mm-hmm.
early age, we train them about law and everything like this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're grooming them. We're grooming them from that, let's say, middle school all the way to his adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
So then, boom, now little Johnny's a lawyer. We paid all
Mm-hmm.
that money so he can go to law school.
Right.
But before we paid the money so he can go to law school, we prepared him. You have to prepare little Johnny before you invest in little Johnny. You
Okay.
can't just invest in people and not prepare them for what the task ahead. That's losing your investment. So
Okay.
we prepare him, then we invest in him. And then once little Johnny become a lawyer and he's doing all this, little Johnny, you know, we'll say 10% to 15% of little Johnny paycheck go back to the community. It don't
Mm-hmm.
go to an individual. It doesn't go to just because you are in the council. It goes to you. No. The
No.
thing about it is you have to keep everybody on the same playing field. Now, if you go and you go and make extra money yourself and you want to do that, that's fine. That's cool. But as far as the community, people don't make money off the community.
Right.
There's not going to be a commissioner or a council person that's over the
Mm-hmm.
community that's making money from the community living in a bigger house than the community. No, that
Mm-mm.
commissioner or that councilman will live in the same size houses as someone else unless they come up with a different way that's making more money to
Mm-hmm.
rebuild on their house to get a bigger house.
Right.
They're not going to make money off our people. That's what we need to stop. Having people living better lives than you, making money off of you, and they're not
Mm.
giving back in you. So when it comes to finance, we need to be transparent when we're taking money from people. People should be able to, each month, we should be able to sit up there and say, yo, we
And
have this
provide
much in the bank
a
account.
ledger. Mm-hmm.
Right. This much in
Mm-hmm.
the bank account. We're
Mm-hmm.
not spending no money until we all take a vote on what we spending money on. There shouldn't be a person that's over the money and say, well, I spend it on this. But who did
Mm-mm.
you ask?
Nobody.
Who did you ask for this spend on that? Who said that we wanted that?
Mm-mm.
Who said that we needed that?
Exactly. Exactly.
We need to, everything has to go into a vote. Everything has to be accountable for everybody. That way,
Mm.
when it messed up, everybody is at fault. Why? Because we all voted for it. Think about when we looking to be a president. We always talking about, oh, these people don't do nothing for us. But who do we sit around and who's building a voting standard that say we all going to vote for this person? And in
Exactly.
order to vote for this person need to buy us. Meaning, you got to put something in writing that say if we vote for you, you're going to put these things into law to
Yes.
protect us.
Yes.
Do you get what
Flat
I'm
out.
saying? We
Yeah.
got to stop giving people things for free.
Mm.
Stop having them entitled to say, just like Biden said, you ain't black if you ain't vote for me.
Ain't that
Nigga,
some
I'm
mess?
black if I don't vote for you. Nigga, what
The
did you do
heck?
for us?
Nothing.
Oh, he did this, he did nah,
He
nah.
was
We still
enforced.
getting lynched. We still
Exactly.
getting this. We still getting hurt. Oh, we gonna fund the police, but the police is the one that's killing. Why can't we hold them accountable? You can fund them. I don't have a problem with you funding the police. But guess what? You also need to fund the people. You also need to hold them accountable to say, yo, if you do this, yo, we're gonna fund you. But if you do
Exactly.
this, guess what? That's a mandatory of 10 years. Shoot somebody unarmed. Do you get what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
you are afraid, why are you even trying to be a police officer? Don't. You pick this career. So don't live by the law. I got to make it back to my kids because you know what the job entitled. That's like being a soldier. You go into war and say, no, I'm just a cook. But you sign up to
Mm.
be a soldier first. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to put you in it. Now
Mm-hmm.
you fighting for somebody else's argument. that's not fighting for their own argument. But I respect everybody that's want to be that's a soldier. I respect them. But you got to understand the truth. The people that making these arguments and stuff, they're not even in the fight themselves. These are things that you gotta hold accountable and say, yo, if I want to be a part of this, like me saying I want to be in charge of Ataraxis, it's not saying that I did this because I want to be in charge, but I seen
Mm.
a need. I seen the need, and nobody
Hmm.
else was coming for the need. So I set up here and I say, all right, cool. We need to get this done.
Okay.
So
So,
in order to do, hold on. In order to do that, I must be transparent. I must sit over here and say, all right, I got to be in charge of these people' money, right? So I have to sit over here and be like, yo, this is how it works because our people don't trust. We don't trust these because not only our people be manipulated against and be oppressed, we oppress each other
that's
and we
true.
take from each other. So now I have to look at those obstacles and say, hey, let me be transparent, my brother. Let me be transparent, my sister. All right, y'all gave these people, everybody gave $100. This is how much we have in our thing. And that money would not move until all of us take a vote on what we should do with it. On
Okay.
what land should we buy?
Mm.
On
So
on
that,
what school should we build? But go ahead.
but that,
Mhm.
so
I
the
know.
second,
Bring it back. Bring it back,
Lord
my
have
nigga.
mercy. Can I get the, give me the mic? So, thank you. So you already touched on it. So basically, if we keep the money and the finances circulating within the community, now what we can do is look into buying land or an area. And can you expound on that? So why is it important for a community to look at buying and purchasing land? Let's start there.
Because it's all ownership.
Mm,
When you own something as a whole, right?
mm,
That's yours. No one can take that from you.
mhm,
When you own assets, let's say you go and y'all all buy a house, right?
mhm.
You buy up a whole block. You don't buy the land under the block, you buy the building, right?
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you sit over here and you mad because they still come down and treat you like shit. It's because you didn't buy the land first. It's monopoly. You know, Y- take Monopoly for example. Monopoly is monopoly in real life. It's not a game.
It's
When you
not.
play that game Monopoly, that's how life is played.
It is.
And if you don't use that them rules, guess what? You're going to be sitting over here and you purchasing the houses. You the one purchasing the houses, and you're not even in the game. You just in the house. While the
So,
person that's in the game is owning these lands and the house that you own. Because you
right.
can buy a house, right? You can buy a house. If I buy the land that your house is on, that house is mine. And you could be like, no, 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 it's not. Yes, it is. Because
Yes, it
why?
is.
I can pay you the value for that house. You got 30 days to vacate. You can't tell me nothing.
Exactly.
So people will be mad nasty to you if they want to because they own it. That's the power of ownership. You can go and own a building and then have Walmart go rent it out from you, right? This is
Right.
called money. You can actually do that. And have Walmart or one of those chain stores rent it out from you because they ain't gonna never move once they start, right? And you can go up on rent every year. Guess what? They're gonna stay there because they don't want to feel like a failure, right? And you be like, nah, you're gonna have to pay me another 100,000 more, another fifty
Wow.
thousand more, right? Because
Hmm.
you own the the property that building that business is on. But guess
Right.
what? Let your ass go inside of Walmart and rent out a store. They're gonna go up on rent on you. Why?
Exactly.
Because they own what's there. That's the power of ownership.
And that's
This is the
awesome.
problem. To buy land and not just sit up there and say, well, I got 2 acres. Come on now, we got to be knowledgeable. Knowledge and wisdom. Okay,
It's
600
key.
acres is a block, is a square block, city block. Is that anything?
No,
No, that's
no.
nothing. So when you say you got 1 or 2 acres, that's nothing. That's less than nothing. You gotta
Mm,
own. You gotta understand this. When you sit up there and you say, "All right, cool. Well, we're gonna go and get 700 acres, right? And we own the land because this is all we can afford. Cool. That's cool, right? But then you gotta understand, your children still need to go off your acreage to go get
right.
miseducated. You still need to go off your acreage to go work for somebody. That's not
Wow.
ownership. You just got acres, but you still being owned. You still got your ex master last name. You can't even be the owner of yourself in your time yet. You still
Okay.
have people that's being in the supervisor telling you when to come to work and how long you need to stay. Hell, they tell you on your day off that you need to come in. Otherwise, you ain't got a job. That means they own you and you don't own it. But go ahead.
So, with that being said, we're gonna talk about next. We're gonna talk about next about contracts, the importance of having each member of the community to complete a contract. And I know I was speaking because it keeps it everybody accountable, but give us a little bit too on why, if you're going to build a community, finances are going to be involved, and you are purchasing land, right? We are
Hmm.
owners of this land. Let's speak on the importance of a contract.
So, in order to get into for someone to sign a contract, and they come to the table with what is it in for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, all right, if let's say we have 1,000 people, right? A
Mm-hmm.
thousand people pay $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's $10 million. That
Mm-hmm.
$10 million, if you can stretch it, you can buy not only land, but you can start building on that land.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing
Mm-hmm.
that you want to do is you don't want to run and build houses,
Mm-hmm.
because houses doesn't bring value to your land. Business bring value to it,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
the houses take away from it. So what you want to do is, the first rule is to build business. And once you build business, right, and
Mm-hmm.
you bringing up the businesses there and everything like that. So now you have business. Now you can start doing sprinkles. What you want to do is you want to build enough houses for the workers and the
Mm-hmm.
owners of the business to live. That way
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to go access to go to work.
Okay.
Then when you do business, right, you have the
Mm-hmm.
workers and everything. The second thing you want to do is you want to start building schools that bring values to the land as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
now, even though the government don't fund it, right,
Mm-hmm.
you have a knowledge, you have a place where your kids can go and everything like that. And that way they can go to work. So you start building extra houses because you have the school now. Now you have
Right.
school and you have work and you have a bank, you have a supermarket, right? And now becomes self sufficient, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now what you want to do is, now you told them what they're getting from it. So now they invest their 10,000. Now their expectation is like, hey, I get to live for free. And I say, no, you don't live for free. It's everyday life. But guess what? You're paying for peace.
Yes.
You're paying to live not in survival, but in peace. But what you do get is, you get your name a part of the land that goes on
Mm-hmm.
the land. That means this land cannot be sold without your
Exactly.
family's consent.
Very
And
important.
what I mean by your family, I mean by your family, not your mother. Because if your mother's not on the land, you don't have a say. It's
So as a
you.
successor. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
before you can go onto this land, you must change your last name. You must. And whether you like it or not, It is what it is. I don't care if you say my name is Jackson, right? I'm gonna put two C's, but that's your last name. That's not your
Mm-hmm.
master's last. If you change it just a little bit, tweak it, that still is your last name. That
Right.
means you own that, not someone else own that. So my thing is, all right, cool. So now you put the contract. You say, all right, I want to sign the contract to get on the land, to get my name on this land so it won't be sold without, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then you go and you say, all right, what's the contract mainly for? The contract protects, like you said, protect home at all costs. It
Yes.
protects the city at all costs from anything, from you self-destructing yourself, or you want to self-destruct the city. Meaning, we all
Exactly.
live in without violence. There shouldn't be a murder. There
Mm-mm.
shouldn't be thievery because guess
Mm-mm.
what? There's no need for it. There's no
Exactly.
need. No one's homeless. No one's doing
Right.
without. We all make sure that no one do without. So there
Right.
shouldn't be nobody robbing nobody. There shouldn't be nobody wanting to kill nobody. So if you are not embarking with integrity, if you are doing danger or harmful things or being a predator to anybody, you will get kicked out, and not only kicked out, you will be prosecuted.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because we
Absolutely.
have to protect our cause. If you think about it, how many children, male and female, that was raped and have been raped, have been molested? We need to protect our people from our people.
I get
I'm
it.
not saying it should be a dictatorship, but we need to hold each other accountable. And this whole law system that we have, especially in the U.S., is a fucking joke. It's a joke. You can do a crime, but if you got the most money, you can get off, or you get
Mm-mm.
less time because you're white. My thing about it is this: no, wrong is wrong, right is right. Period.
So the contract helps to keep everybody accountable. So the
Accountable
next
and self-aware.
and self-aware. So the second thing we're going to talk about is developing a council for this community.
Mhm.
Why is a council important to have while developing this type of community?
When we're building communities, we need people to run it daily.
Mm-hmm.
People that work everyday jobs should not be concerned about Ataraxis every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? People that's
Mm-hmm.
running their own businesses should not be concerned about Ataraxis every day, right? People
Mm-hmm.
that got voted in to a council should be
Mm-hmm.
concerned about Ataraxis every day
Mm-hmm.
because that's your job. You wanted to
Right.
get voted in, that's what it is. The
Mm-hmm.
thing comes with even more accountability than anything else because just just like um, when you're doing a mayor or anything like that, you got a 2 year term, right? To be on the council.
Mm.
But the thing about it is you can get voted out at any time. If you don't have integrity by yourself or your whole entire council don't have integrity, there would be a backup council and a backup to the backup. So you can get voted out anytime. These are things to hold our people up to a standard to say,
Yes.
yo, you're supposed to protect and serve our people. You're supposed to be here to make sure our people is living at not only living at a standard, but need
Mm-hmm.
for nothing. You know, so your job is the most important job ever. So we're going to hold you at that standard as this is the most important job ever. So because you're over people's livelihood,
Exactly.
you're over people's lives. Your job is to protect them that's in this city. Your job is not to exploit them.
Exactly.
Your job your job is not to sit up there and take advantage of them and try to boast your power. Because guess what? If that's what you do, guess what? You'll be voted out and you'll be trouble. I'm serious.
Yes.
Like, yo, you got to hold people accountable because at the
I,
end of the day, if the only thing you're going to get is voted out, what's going to stop you from molesting kids? You're gonna be like, I'm just going to get voted out and leave. Fuck it. No. What's going to stop you from trying to rape your secretary because you don't want to get fired? No, we don't do that. And another thing about Ataraxis is, yo, everybody is entitled to a job. That means you can go out tomorrow to sit up there and say, yo, I need to work. Let me go to this company. If they have open space, you fill out an application and you work for that company. They would train you. Whether you
mm,
want, whether you know how to work that job or not, they would train you. That's livelihood. This
right.
is helping the community. It's not no dictatorship where it's like, nah, we don't like them, we don't want to hire them. No, everybody got a right to work. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? As long as you sit over here and you go to them and say, hey, this ain't working out, and they say, okay, fine, and you can go to the next job over. But if your ass just leave a job and you don't let them know or whatever, or try to give them a notice, guess what? Your ass can't get no job for 6 months. And if you do it again, your ass ain't getting a job for a year. And you're going to be
Wow.
broke for a year. And if you can't pay your dues, your ass is out. Why? It's holding people to a standard of living to say, yo, do right amongst other people, and they will do
Exactly.
right amongst you. We're not doing no predator type shit where you want to take advantage of people because guess what? That one door opened up many. The next thing you know, we got a dictatorship and we're no better than the outside world.
That's the thing. So, speaking on that, about being better than the outside world, why is it important to have a self governing plan
Self governing as an individual or self governing as
for the
a nation.
community? For the community.
So I would do both. Let me do okay. So self governing as a community is it goes back just like what we said in the one. When we was thriving, right, as a
Mm-hmm.
culture, our schools, our businesses, our livelihoods, there wasn't violence in our streets, not that much anyway. And if
It
it was
wasn't.
violence, we was fighting. We wasn't shooting. We was
Right.
fighting. And then go about
Right.
our business and that was that, right? Because whether people want to believe it or not, as a Nubian, we are loving people. We are
Yes.
loving
Naturally.
people
Naturally.
naturally.
Right. Right.
So the aggressive and the violence and that don't come from us. That's something that we adopted.
We
So
learned.
the importance of gold for
Mm-hmm.
thriving is to keep the and stabilize the community.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a standard, and then we build goals, individual goals off of that. But we have to keep that standard because once
Have
that
to.
standard is lifted, guess what? All hell breaks. Look
Yes, it
at the
does.
standard to being a president, right? Look at the standard. The standard was to be a president, you must be over 35. You must be a public servant. You must
Mm-hmm.
have been a public servant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Then you can run your campaign. They got rid of that standard, then we end up getting Donald Trump. Never was a public servant. The nigga over 35, but he dumb as hell. He don't know anything about anything. So we have to have a standard because then that's when all shit hell breaks loose. And then when you have everything, just go every which way, guess what? Then that's when you have no order. You don't have no order. You don't have anything. There's not going to be no peace. People going to be fighting, want to video, chat, and think that's the way of life. Think about it. Think about the standard in the early 1900s, 1800s, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
just talking about as far as a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as a woman, you know, men used to get woo woo because they seen a woman leg or a foot.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
we see butt naked women all the damn time. Hell,
It's
in the
normal.
'90s, I was like, I watch a porn, I'm like, ooh. Now when you see a naked woman, you're like, the substance is gone, right?
Yeah.
The substance
Yeah.
is gone.
It
So you
is.
take substance out when you oversaturate everything.
The
You take
environment, yeah.
substance out of it. When we
Hmm.
want to build a community and having a plan and a standard, that must mean that we need self-sufficiency. That means we don't need water coming from out of our city. We need water in our city because they can damage our water outside, and then when it's coming inside, it kills us or it makes us sick.
Exactly.
So we need
Exactly.
water, a water source that is in our city and can't be accessible to the outside. We need
Hmm.
our finances and our paperwork and our security not accessible to any and everybody. We need
Hmm.
our food resources in our city, and we taking this food resources from one city to the next city to the next city of creating a network to say, yo, we spending money with each other. We build one city, then we build another city in another state,
Exactly.
or we build it. You get
Exactly.
what I mean? And we creating a network. They can destroy one city. They can't destroy a network. We want to do individual things. That's not planning together because we're not putting anything under one umbrella. Like we said before, you have people always talking about they German. You have people always talking about they Italian. You have people they talking about what? They the European, Australian. But let their ass go up against black people. What they are? White.
Indian. Oh yeah.
But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they'll sit there and say, we're white. Now you just went under one umbrella to make you stronger. You get what I'm saying? That's what we need to do when we're coming up with a plan. We go have everything come under one umbrella. If you want to build a city and they want to build a city, guess what? Our cities are under one umbrella. That means we have one standard. That means if something happened to you, we come in to help. Something happened to
Exactly.
us, y'all come in to help. Do you get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We're not saying, oh, well that's happening to them because guess what? Sooner or later it's gonna come happen to you. They're just picking you off one by one to build. So the planning of building a community must be all under one accord. We have to get our egos aside to be like, well, I don't like this person. I don't like this person, but I'm gonna go out and build this on my own. You gotta take your ego out of it. I don't care if I don't like you. But guess what? I don't want to kill you. They want to kill us. They want to oppress us. I don't want to
Yes.
oppress you. You know what I'm saying? I might want to be a little bit better than you, but what friendly competition ain't nothing. It shouldn't have to turn it shouldn't have to turn violent. But at the end of the day, I don't want to impress you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be successful. So I can sit up there and say, yeah, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get more than that. You remember back in the day when we used to take long road trips? We used to be like, that's my car. That's my car.
Yep.
That's my car. Oh, I called that car first.
We
You
did.
know what I mean?
We
And then your
did.
parents say, shut up. You know what I'm saying? But that, but that's what it is. It shouldn't be, yo, I got a better car than you. It should be, yo, I teach you how to get this car. Put this in your
Right.
business. Put this in
Right.
your business name. Don't put this in your name. Don't put nothing in your name. Put this in your business name. Let you get credits off. That's another thing. We need to teach each other how to come up. We as Nubian people want to put everything in our name. No. Put it in your business name. That way you can write it off on tax. Everything.
Exactly.
Gas, electric. Yeah, my business electric. What? My business is in my house. So guess what? I need water. I need food. I need, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff I'm writing off on business. Why? Because it's all in my business.
So
My business own this house. You know what I'm saying? Not me, my business. My business own that car. These are things that you have to say when you're coming up with a plan. Is you have to teach people how to maintain it, not to get it. It's easy to tell people how to get something, but you have to teach them how to maintain it and keep it. Because getting it is the beginning. That's like getting married. Anybody can
mm,
get married. You have to keep being married. You have to stay being married and maintain the marriage. That's where the work come in.
man,
So when you
help
talk about
me.
a community, anybody can build a community. You have to keep them in the community. You got to maintain the community. and make the community successful. But go ahead.
So you hit on it, but that's the importance of the self-governing, everything
Mm-hmm.
that you just listed. So, meaning that we can resolve everything within ourselves because we as a community don't need a third party dictate to us how to live amongst each other. So, therefore, the accountability is there. I'm going to hold you accountable. You're my neighbor, but I'm also going to hold you accountable because we're able to self govern ourselves. We don't need an
Yeah.
appointed person to govern us. And I think that's when we got into captivity. We kind of forgot about that. And now we don't respect anybody that don't have a specific authority or a name or a title. Well, it shouldn't be that way. If we're all in
Mm-hmm.
agreement and we're all in the same community, we should be able to self-govern ourselves.
It's the saying of, and just to put things into perspective, um, if there's a table, right, full of
Hmm.
white people, and then you see over there the table full of Native Americans, then you see a table over there full of Indians, right, Asian. You see a table over there, right, and let's say full of whatever, right, but you'll
Hmm.
never see no table full of Nubians. Not one. No matter where you go in the world, you don't see a table.
Mm.
You always see an extra table of Caucasians, an extra table because they're over the system. Yes, you see Nubians sitting at the table, but you don't see that's their table, right? So,
Hmm.
and when you put that in perspective, you say, yo, these who's controlling the table? So if you're putting them over the table, they're controlling how many sit at the table. They're
Right.
controlling how much you eat from the table. While you sitting over there bickering and arguing about scraps, they're eating full 5 course meals and dessert and have
And
a
dessert.
salad in the beginning and the appetizer. You get what I'm saying? While
Right,
you fighting
right.
over scraps. And then you thinking that's the way to live.
It's so not.
So when you become self-governing, you're not fighting over
Hmm.
scraps. What you're doing is you're at Thanksgiving, you're passing the plate and passing the food and saying we all eating. No matter if I like you or not, you are Nubian. Our skin is deeper than our ego.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
thing about it is when you don't stand for your people, you will always fall for everything because you're so busy trying to survive. You're dealing with being manipulated. You're dealing with being mistreated because you're so busy trying to survive. So you would rather choose to be a prisoner for someone else's ego
Hmm.
than to live, no matter how short or long, on your own merit. So my thing
Confused.
is to tell you is to tell people, not everybody, yes, not everybody can be a boss. Not everybody can be a owner and just come up. They don't have the money, whatever. But guess what? When we all work together, we become stronger
That is
and we
true.
become owners. But if you don't work together and you want to still live in this denial life that they taught you and you bought, that they sold to you and you bought, that you can make it on your own, has it worked yet? Has it worked? Have you made it? Is it? And then if you say, "Yeah, I made it," that's what you call life. That's what you call living. While they out taking trips, you know what I mean, on Instagram, telling you that this is the standard of living. This is the standard of beauty. This is the standard. Let me create these. Look at the games or the advertisement on your phone. Everything is white. Everything is not you. But yet that's the standard because it's not you. When you're looking at a commercial, right? And you be like, damn, even if they do a commercial for you, think about the commercial they do. It seems like they're trying to give you charity, right? And then the saddest thing about it is they control the network of the commercial. So now, instead of seeing a Nubian woman, you either see a light skinned woman. And I'm not saying that the light skinned woman ain't Nubian, but it's the narrative that they pushing. If we're going to choose somebody Nubian, she's going to be light color. Oh, now we need light color women and we need light color kids. You get what I mean? Whoa, oh,
Hmm.
let's turn it up and make another knot. Let's make it. Let's take the Nubian man out and make that a white man with a black woman. Now they got mixed kids. Think about it. Think about cheaper by the dozen. They just made a new cheaper by the dozen, right? Gabrielle Union with a white man and they got mixed kids. Why couldn't you do cheaper by the dozen with a black woman and a black man? Do you get what I'm saying? It's a narrative that they pushing
Yeah, it
that
is.
we accept because guess what? These are Nubian people that's accepting those roles that in turn accepting those standards. Another movie Gabrielle Union had, the last one before that, where she was a fighting woman and they came and killed her dad, right?
Yes,
Her husband,
yes,
she had a black man as a husband, right? This man
yes.
came in the movie for 2 seconds, right? This dude is buff. This dude was like my size, right? This dude got hit by this smaller white man 2 times and was out the whole movie. Why Gabrielle Union got hit by a car, she got beat up and kept moving and everything. This man got punched twice and was out for the rest of the movie. And
His
I'm like,
chin was
yo,
weak.
but this is how they see us
Us.
as
Yes, they
men.
do.
But
Yes,
the
they do.
problem of it is we accepting
That's not
these
our truth.
dumbass roles for one, and then two, we're not sitting up here saying, nah, we're not supporting. We're not sitting up here saying, nah, we're gonna create our own narrative because we can. If you sitting up there on social media talking about, oh, Facebook always taking down my post when I'm talking about, the Royal Ebony color, the Royal Ebony community. But then why not get together and create your own social media? Why, when you want to create a social media, it's always a damn dating app? Fuck pussy, fuck dick, fuck fucking. There's more important things out here than fucking. But every
It
time we do something, it's always a goddamn dating app. Why? There's no building in a dating app. There's no progression. Oh, well, we trying to link people. No, you go on them dating apps just to fuck. To try to link
okay.
up with people that have sex. But I'm off of that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that needs to be said. But go ahead.
So that is the end of my question.
Go ahead. Go
That
ahead to
is
the
it.
next one.
No, that's it. That's the end of the
That's
questions.
it.
Because basically, yeah. So basically, what you did was you fused the other two in your when you
No,
was
I didn't talk
expounding.
about police officers. We
You didn't talk
need
about
to have
who?
a militia. We need to have a militia in our own police force.
Law enforcement.
There's a
Hmm.
difference. There's a difference. We need to have a police force, but we also need to have our own militia. Our militia is our army, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And the bigger our network grow, the bigger our army grow, right?
Hmm.
So the thing about it is this: the police officers, yes, that would be a job. You would get paid for. Your job is not to have a quota. Your job is not to have a quota like how these police forces around America is. It's not. So just like being in Asia, right? The police officers don't have a quota. You know what they do? They mind their business. They sit in a cubby. They might be in a car. They don't go and try to stop people. If you are literally speeding, they will pull you over and give you a ticket and go about their business, right? But the thing about it is they don't bother nobody. They don't, because that ain't their job. Their job is not to bother anybody. Their job is to respond to issues, not cause issues, then respond. And that's how our community will be ran. Your job is to respond to issues, and that's
Okay.
your job, not cause issues. Then respond and act like you're doing your job. That's not doing it. You get what I'm saying? So in the militia's job is basically like we're not gonna have people that say, well, I'm a militia and you're not doing
Mm-hmm.
nothing all that. No, people are called to be the militia. That's your job. It's just like Minutemen. Everybody learned about Minutemen. When you was called, you pick up your gun, you roll, right? But being a part of the militia, we still would say, yo, we're going to give you a purchase, right? A benefit or a bonus or whatever, because this is the job because we need you when you're called. So we're not trying to be giving you bonuses. Then when you called, you try to run it high. We're saying, yo, because at the end of the day, my thing about it is we need to stand up. And I mean, any and everybody in our community should be standing up for our community, not just the particular people. But everybody will have
Exactly.
a job to do.
Exactly.
Everybody will have a job to do. Because when they come for us, they're going to come. So everybody have a job to do. My thing about it is this. If we're prepared, we won't have to get ready. If we're teaching our men and our women and our children how to defend themselves by hands first, by your body first, and then with weapons second,
Mm.
knives, bats, guns, all that second. Because guess what? If you lose all that and get into a hand-to-hand combat, if
You're
you
not gonna
can't defend
win.
yourself, what use are you?
Exactly.
What use are you? None.
Exactly.
Look at the percentage of people that die by their guns each and every year. Their own guns each and every year. I tell people as is, I say, listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've been trained in my life to look at situations and to act on situations. So if if a shooter is closer to me than my escape, I'm going towards the shooter.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yes.
Hmm.
And they be like, well, you're gonna get shot, but you're gonna get shot trying to run out the door too. So you gotta think about the percentage. If you run towards the shooter, you're gonna catch them off guard. Your job is to grab the wrist of the gun and to fight for your life. Don't sit there and be on your knees and plead. People gonna shoot you, especially if you see your face. They're gonna shoot you. So stop being on your knees and all that other stuff. My thing about it is we have to have people in place to protect what's ours. This is
Hmm.
where Black Wall Street and the rest of them went wrong. Is because they didn't have people in place to protect what was there. And then when it came
Mm.
time to fight, it was always it was like pepper inside a whole hill of salt. There was only a few that was fighting. Everybody else tried to run. No, we need people fighting. We need people there. We need when they come around, we need areas where our children and our women can go to. And if some of the women that want to fight, guess what? They right there with us. But we need to fight
Exactly.
smart. We need to fight
Exactly.
smart. Don't be out
Exactly.
there and standing in the street want to shoot. We need barriers. We need barriers to protect you. We need to fight smart. So we need to have this all in place. So if something happens, guess what? Everything. This is how we run. We ready.
Exactly.
We ready. We need
Exactly.
people. We need people that's not willing to sell us out
Mm.
because they got in trouble. They got in trouble by the law by doing something stupid, or
Okay.
they want to give you some money. They want to give you some money to give up secrets about it. What you giving up? You got to think about what you're giving up. You giving up legacy. You giving up freedom, ownership. You're giving up peace of our people, not for yourself. You already gave that up. You already bought that by taking that money or even thinking about it. But you're giving up for everybody else. Everything, every time, everything in history. If you look at where we were trying to rise, we always was brought down by each other. It was always the Nubian that brought us down, and that's
Hmm.
because they didn't understand the movement. They didn't believe in the movement, or their selfish ego would overshadow what we was trying to do. At the end of the day, we need to protect the house at all costs.
And not just that, protect each other at all costs,
That's the house.
and protects
That's part of the house. But go ahead.
and
I'm
protect and protect our reputation within anorexis, because everybody will,
right.
it will cause some confusion, and nobody's going to be happy to the fact that we all came together as a collective. So you will
Right.
have to be able to, for one, stand up, and then not only that, put on a table. If it's something that you can be blackmailed about, that need to be discussed
Right.
before you sign that contract for a maintenance. Like, all of that has to be an accounting before. But I thank you for answering my questions on what it takes to rebuild a community.
I have a question for you though.
Sure.
What does it take for our men to
Hmm.
earn back the respect for our women?
That's a powerful question. Because
Yes.
I can only respect, I can only speak one from my perspective, from my experience. That's not
Hmm.
speaking for all women collectively.
But
To
you can
be,
try.
nah, not really. I
You're
can
a
only speak for
spokesperson
me.
now. You're a spokesperson. Now go ahead.
No, I don't want that responsibility, brother. Um, so you asking what do a Nubian has to do to restore the faith in him?
Yep. To restore the respect.
The respect.
Right.
Mm.
And what I
For
mean by
me,
the respect, what I mean by the respect is re- to be seen as a protector, to be seen
oh,
as a provider, to be
mm,
seen as someone that's worthy to say, yo, even though you're not dating, because right now our Nubian women only acknowledge people they date. They don't acknowledge people they don't talk to. You get what I'm saying?
okay.
Like me, I acknowledge everybody. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But they only acknowledge and say, but demand, demand, demand. But just the respect, to see the respect in the glow, get that glow back to say, yo, our
I
men is
think
awesome. What do we need to do as men, in your opinion, to get that back to say, this is things that we can work
okay. What I think they could do. I think that's a powerful question. Sorry, trying to make light of it. Um, first thing, first and foremost, in order to gain back the trust in us,
with?
it has to be transparency, consistency, being consistent. And what that means that if you see a woman and you see that she's out at wee hours in the morning and you're standing at the bus stop, or you could be taking the trash or whatever, but you're making sure you're acknowledging her and letting her know
Mhm.
that, you know what, I want to make sure you get your to your point A from my site. You know what I mean? I think the
Right.
consistency, making sure that she makes it to her car. If
Hmm.
she's struggling, it's the small things that's gonna take, and it's basically it's gonna be consistency, the
Hmm.
transparency. Another thing it's gonna take too is that when a situation comes up, the black or the Nubian woman is not the first one to move.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that could
Hmm.
just be you just to giving her a gesture like, yo, I don't need you to say nothing. I got this, right? When we begin to see that we don't have to fight and that you're willing to stand up for us, I think that too will help with the restoring, as well as um, not always have to be searched out for. You're literally right
Right.
there. You have my back. I don't have to look for you. You're there. So I think those four components is the start. I think a conversation as well. When a Nubian woman knows your attention towards her and her well being, and then she's
Hmm.
seeing you do it, that also is going to win us back over. But it's like I said, that's a powerful question. But for me, that would start for me. First of all, I need to see that you're there in the situation. Secondly, I need to know that I could trust you and you're earning my trust by being there in that situation. And your
Right.
consistency. You're always on time. You're always doing it. And I'm talking about all men of color, like the Nubian men.
Okay.
If you see a woman in distress, because I'm gonna be honest, I have seen a Nubian man look at a woman in distress, and a Caucasian man would come right behind that man who walked off and aid a Nubian woman.
Right.
Should no other race be taking care of me outside of you? Because if it was vice versa, the woman, being who she is, would have made sure you were okay. Even though
Right.
we can't even resolve the issue, but we're going to make sure that you get the resource that you need in order to be okay. And that has to
That's
be
true.
reciprocated.
I think also that, and this is just me speaking, I think we need to stop looking to get something out of it. We need to, as a man, we need to stop getting, looking for something to get out of being with women, doing things for women, you know,
Mm,
and saying, hey, I want to be friends with this woman, but I want sex, or I want to be a friend because I want to wait till she's down and out, or to see if I can. I don't even want to date her really. I would go that route if I can have sex with her. But you get what I'm saying? We have to stop doing it. And I'm not saying all men do it,
tit for
but
tat.
some of us,
Yeah.
right? We have to just be there and just say, because a lot of things that I do, a lot of women look at me and be like, "I just because you need it." You get what I'm saying? Like, if I see you walking and I know that you're heading over there, I'm like, hey, do you want to ride? You get what I'm saying? And some
It's a
I don't
little
know
thing.
you. I know this. I'm like, cool. I offered. That's cool, and I go about my way, my business.
Mm.
If I see that it's raining outside, and I would say, all right, this lady don't have an umbrella, but she's looking that way for her car that way, and I'm right here about to leave. So why don't I say, hey, I got an umbrella. Come on, I'll walk you over to your car. You
It's
get what I'm saying?
those things. That's
If I
that's what
see
do it.
Right. If I see a woman and I pulled up at the gas station, to a Nubian woman, and she's about to pump her gas, I say, nah, I got you. I don't care if she got a man in, especially if she got a man in the car. You get what
Oh,
I'm
let's
saying?
not
If she
even
got a
talk
man
about
in the
that.
car, especially, I'm going to pump her
Good.
gas. And if you feel some type of way, then you should have got
Come
your ass
see me.
out and pumped her gas.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
These are
I
things that
think
we need to do unapologetic.
chivalry and
Yeah.
chivalry isn't dead. I think, like I said, those things that we named. I think if a woman, if a Nubian woman is greedy with that in her day, it will
Hmm.
restore her faith in our men. And
Right.
because once again, women are the Nubian women are the most targeted. And then even if I'm in an argument that has nothing to do with you, and I'm not saying I want you to jump in and get hurt, but at the same time, jump in. Why
Right.
am I arguing by myself with a Caucasian couple and you walk past me,
Right.
but you pull out your phone to record, but you won't come to my
Exactly.
aid?
Right. And you
So
trying to make a person, or even if you do it just like me, I would sit over there and I'll turn my back toward, the Caucasian couple, and I look at the Nubian woman and say, yo, you not know who the fuck you are? Why are you arguing with them? Get out the clown show. You don't need to prove anything to them. You not know your crown is gonna put your crown back on. You don't need to prove nothing to them. And I'm saying that I say this right in front of them, with my back turned with zero respect. Why? Because I'm acknowledging that Nubian woman and saying, yo, get out the clown show. Because you don't
yeah.
need to be in the clown show with them. You don't need to
Mm-hmm.
prove nothing to them. Walk in your stride, off your
Mm-hmm.
shit, and go about
Mm-hmm.
your business. Right? That's how.
Right.
That's it.
That's
We
it.
need to protect each other. We need to be there for each other.
And I
We
agree with
need to.
that.
Hmm.
I agree with that. But we also need to heal too And you asked me what needs to be done. Healing
Yeah.
is another one. We have to heal. And like I said, and I always have said, men, our fathers are our first introduction to men. So if
Right.
our father failed us in some line of in some line in action when it came to protection,
Hmm.
we need that ought to be healed.
Right.
Whatever the reason was, we need that to be healed. And that comes from, once again, consistency,
Hmm.
transparency, you know what I mean? And being genuine in a situation without the outgo being, like you said, a put sex. So
Hmm.
once again, very powerful question. I don't even think I got to the gist of it, but that's my answer on that. And respectfully too, because like I said, every female experience is something different. For me, I
Right.
need to know I can look over my shoulder and you're there
Hmm.
without me having to ask you. And then not only that, the consistency of me not being able to look over my shoulder to the point I don't have to look no more. I just know you're there.
Hmm.
That's part of it. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with healing too. And it's a two-way street because there's
That's
a lot
true.
of mothers that failed a lot of our Nubian people too. It's a lot of
That's
mothers that failed our Nubians, men. So the healing has to be there. And then on that, if you see I'm consistent and you see I got your back, you're not gonna keep looking for me like a little kid waiting for their mom to pick them up from school. You already know I'm there. You know I'm coming. Shut over without a shadow of
hmm
a doubt. We have to get to that point. Is
true.
it can it be done? Absolutely. But like I said, every female, every Nubian female have their own ism. So it's not always going to be something that's black and white, but it is what it is. Consistency wins everybody over,
We have
to
to
be
be
honest.
more understanding as well.
Say it
We
again.
we can't. We have to be more understanding. We can't. We have to be whole understanding. We can't just be understanding of our view to life in a situation. We have
Mhm.
to try to understand other people's view to the situation as well. And I'm not saying, be sympathetic to their view, but I'm saying show empathy. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? A lot of us don't show empathy in nothing. We so hardcore, we think empathy is nothing. That's strength. Just saying
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, we can be there for other people.
Mm.
Even though they're wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I see where you're going. I see how I affected you, even though I feel I did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I can still say, I see how I affected. But
Mm.
at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, like we can be so used to doing things that we don't even know. We don't even know that we're doing them, and we be like, all right, my bad. Or I don't know that that's the trigger for you. You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you might been going through something that I don't even know about, or that I might know about, but I don't know how it affected you. So these are things that we need to be aware of and show empathy to other people. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to do a community, and we need the community, because without trust,
Exactly.
there's no unity. And
At
without
all.
unity, there's no community.
That's
So
true.
we need that whole bondship of saying, you know, yeah, you don't know me, but I got
But I
think
got you.
about think about how many of us Nubians say, "You don't know me."
But I
You get what I'm
do.
saying? Like, no, but I know what you've been through.
But I do.
I know. You get what I'm saying? You're like, let's get rid of that narrative and be more of, "I got
Thank
you. Yeah,
you.
I got
Thank you.
you." You know what I'm saying? I got you. I'll hold you down.
Thank you.
Because if not, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to know you to hold you down. I don't have
That's
to
true
know
too.
you to protect you. I don't have to know you to stand up for you. I don't have to know you to make you smile.
That's true.
Because I see that your day isn't going the way that you planned it.
Exactly.
But I can be there for you throughout anything else. That's my problem.
Whew. Thank you.
Mm. Oh, woo,
Pastor,
whatever. Woo.
Pastor, can we leave the church, Pastor? Jesus
No, we
Christ.
got two more tides left. Okay, let's get a hymn.
But I
Mm.
I respect the fact that you're passionate about this, and I think this is the second episode. I really believe that we got three more to birth off of this one, because once again we're
Mhm.
just literally grazing some things, and I think it needs to get into a little bit more detail. But I do appreciate you answering my questions, because a lot of these questions are being asked, and a lot of people don't believe that a community can be built by us for us, and what that looks like. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to go out there and buy land if you don't have the means right now, but you can establish it and then earn the money to have that land. So that's the
True.
most important thing. So
Another thing you
thank
can
you.
do is you can sit over here. You don't have the means. You can get with a group and y'all all purchase land together. It don't have to always be about you to grow. Sometimes you need other people. And as
Always need
long
other
as
people.
all of y'all names is on it, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, and then what you do is, even if you say, hey, well, my trust ain't good. So what you do is y'all all get a bank account, right? And y'all
Hmm.
make it to where the bank account, you can't take money out of that account unless everyone is present. You can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Simple. If you're in a
Real simple.
relationship and you have a and you want to do an account with your partner, do it, and you're afraid that they're going to take your money at some time. Guess what? Yes, you can go into that account, and it's gonna be a hassle sometimes because when y'all in good moments, you can be like, "Why can't you just go get money?" No, that's your fail safe. Y'all gonna have to deal with, right? So that way, you and her, or you and him, or whoever, however you want to spend it, right? Y'all go into an account, and when y'all need money, y'all go together, right? That's how you spend it.
I
Y'all
think
have your
that's a,
own debit card,
mm,
huh?
I think
What
that's a
you gonna
safe way to do it too. I think that's
say?
the way to keep everybody accountable. And then not only that, it makes it tangible.
Hmm.
So I'm totally in
And
agreement
then
with that.
and you don't have to worry about the fear of y'all had an argument. Is this person gonna go to the bank and leave me? You
Can't
know
do
what I'm
it.
saying?
Can't
Yeah.
touch it.
So you can't touch it unless you go together. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
The whole anything in life have to hold yourself accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable
That's
for what
so
you bring
true.
to the situation, what how you moving in your truth. You got to
Hmm.
hold yourself accountable for that. Um, you have to hold yourself accountable for how much ethics and of effort or you are adding to
Yes.
situations
Yes.
because we want to sit over here and be like, well, I don't have to, but that's cool. But that comes with something. You can't get mad at someone for not want to present into you if you're not applying effort to them either.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're halfway applying effort to then you want to get mad at, you know, that situation. That's what you got to be honest. You get what I mean? So I
Yeah.
get it. But that was our show. Unless you got something else to add. No, no. Oh yeah. Ooh, you are long winded. Oh my gosh. I was like, woo. Oh, when is this podcast gonna stop? You
Tap out.
know?
You ready? Are y'all ready? You ready? No. No. Anybody? Rose. Rose.
Anybody?
Rose. 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 No. That's
No
how you
tag.
want to do
No
me?
tag.
Okay. All right. I
All right.
understand.
Thanks for joining.